Hello, Erica here from A Sophisticated Pair, and today I am reviewing not just a bra, but actually an entire idea. I have on the Trusst-Suzanne, which is a completely new lingerie company on the market that has some interesting things in store for it. They've done a lot of unique changes. And before I get right down to it, I want to first off preface and say that this review may tend to be a little bit longer because we're not talking about a normal bra. There's some cool facets to this that we haven't discussed yet. And secondly, you may hear a low hum in the video. It is hot. It was 80 degrees when I left the house this morning, and I am right next to a hot yoga studio, so my choices were low hum in the video or poor sweat. Clearly, I chose the video hum. So let's get down to brass tacks about this. Trust Lingerie decided to eschew the normal way of doing bras, which is either usually an underwire or a sort of structured wireless bra. So technically this is a wireless bra, it doesn't have any underwires in it, but it does have internal structure that you would not see with a wireless. Usually wireless consists of fabrics put together to kind of give you support, maybe some elastic banding at the bottom or side stays. This doesn't do that. This is completely different. This actually uses 3D printing techniques to create a sort of bridge of support underneath the bust, lifting it up while also being a little bit more comfortable across the rib cage and along the side than a traditional underwire. So the name Trust Lingerie actually comes from the root of truss, which is an architectural term defined as framework usually consisting of beams or rafters that support a heavy object like a roof or a bridge. So that's where you kind of get this concept of using this 3D printing, this slightly different material to lift up the bust, shape it, support it, while also alleviating pain on the shoulders, neck, and back. So a couple years ago, I was privileged to review the prototype for the Trust Lingerie design before they launched their very successful Kickstarter campaign. And it remains my second most controversial product review on the blog, as far as controversy goes with my blog. There were some critiques about it, one of which was specifically relating to the idea of why reinvent the wheel. We've come such a long way in terms of both underwire and traditional wireless soft cut bras. Why do you need to throw all of that out and start from scratch with something completely different? And there is a lot of merit to that. There have been some great advances in the lingerie market, especially over the last 10 years, where bras have gotten progressively better and more comfortable. Manufacturers who have a lot of experience have changed their designs to incorporate customer feedback. So it is a valid question of, well, why wouldn't you just learn from the mistakes of other companies and stand on their shoulders to make your own product? Why take their research and take it a step further? But for me, coming from more of an engineering and math background, I also know that sometimes the greatest innovations come from the fact that people had the courage to take a risk and try something completely different, to approach a problem in a new way, to even throw out those ideas that came before them and just look at it with an open mind. Sometimes it works and we get great stuff. Other times it falls completely flat on its face. But I still respect the risk. So for me, I still maintain that it was very interesting to see them taking bra manufacturing to a completely different direction. The other critique was that the prototype itself was a bit of a hot mess, and in retrospect, looking at the pictures, I can't help but agree. For me, I was kind of looking beyond at what it was going to be, but I imagine if you're kind of looking at it just as it is, it definitely was a little bit, unfinished, and there was some weird shape issues and things like that. So I'm glad that I got a chance to review it, and I'm even more happy that I have a chance now to look at the final prototype, or the final version of it. So as I mentioned, this is the Suzanne. They have, I think, 2, maybe 3 other styles that they do. Suzanne is kind of my personal favorite. I tried on 1 or 2 of the other ones, and this is the one that I chose to review. So for sizing, this is a American 36J, which is a UK 36 double G. Right now, I am oscillating between the UK 34H and the 36 double G, so this definitely, to me, runs pretty true to size. I feel like the band is a smidge on the tighter side. So if you're between sizes, you may want to size up in the Suzanne just to make sure it's extra comfortable. Now the fit on this is really where we kind of get to the meat and potatoes of the review. So as I mentioned, on the inside of this, there are these support beams made from 3D printing techniques. I'll have some pictures in the written review of the blog, which you can find in the description. But they generally kind of contour the rib cage and then create these little, almost like cups that kind of like push up from the bottom. I know cups probably with cups of the bra, sort of maybe a poor choice of words, but it does. There's like this extra little bit of like a shelf that kind of pushes upward and alleviates some of the pressure here. So with an underwire, you usually have this like thin piece that kind of like comes up to the middle, which creates the center gore, and then it comes to the side. The 3D printing stops about here. So this right here is just fabric. And then it also doesn't come up here on the side very far. And then it also kind of tapers. So it's a little bit thicker here at the bottom to create the shelf, and then it tapers as we go up the side. Because the bra doesn't use your traditional underwire or soft cup techniques, I feel like there's a little bit of a mix of both in the single bra. For starters, with a traditional wireless bra, you usually don't have any kind of tacking. In fact, you sometimes don't even get any kind of separation depending on your breast shape. So here, I don't have tacking. This would be kind of like that nice full tack. However, as I've mentioned in my reviews of like Polish company Samanta, tacking is not always something that companies strive for. It's become very normalized because of the prevalence of UK lingerie brands and a lot of American brands that want the bras to tack, but it's not a priority for every manufacturer. That said, the Trust bra still does give separation. I don't have any tissue touching here in the middle, and I've been wearing this for about 40 minutes, moving and bending, and they're still staying where they are. So I think that shows that even despite not having that ability to tack, there's still the element of separation and support. The feeling of the 3D printer to me is pretty comfortable. I want to come back to that a little bit later, but I will say that I do feel like I'm definitely getting a lot of lift. I'm filling up the cups completely as well. This is kind of a molded contour cup. They don't have any options yet, which are sort of cut and sew. But again, molded cups are actually pretty popular here, so I don't necessarily think that that's a mark against them. For me, I prefer ones that have more of a sectional cup, but the support and the shape I get from the bra is pretty nice. I do have a gripe that it is a little bit like boxy and more east-west. Like I feel like I wish it would kind of come in just a little bit more from the sides, but it's not a huge complaint. Some people don't actually like that overly forward projected shape, so again, kind of comes down to personal preference on whether or not you would actually like that. So the straps on the bra are lightly padded going up to the shoulder, and then they switch to a partially adjustable strap. There's a J-hook in the back, which is super easy to use and makes the bra even more comfortable. The wings on the side are very, very wide, so you get a lot of side support and smoothing, and that carries to the back. And while I'm on the side, just to give you a perspective, so the 3D printing is kind of coming up and coming across here, and then it kind of tapers off and it stops. So one of the complaints that we get a lot in the store is that women want the back and the side smoothed, and they want as much of kind of this particular area covered. But the flip side is sometimes it gets too high or sometimes it's not comfortable, and this is. I mean, I can move my arms forward, sideways. The fabric that they chose to use here has a little bit of give to it, which I think makes it more comfortable. And then of course having that added width on the sides and the back really helps to distribute the weight as well. So not only do you have the Trust support system at the bottom, but you also have this wider surface area across your side and back to disperse the weight of the bust. So overall, the bra is super, super comfortable. When I first reviewed it, I thought that this might be an alternative for people who hated underwires. Like this would kind of be like your bridge. It might not be completely wireless, but it would be somewhere in between. Retrying it now, I revised that opinion a little bit because you still have a lot of structure here, and I feel like some of the critiques that I hear about underwire bras are going to apply. You know, if you sit down, you're still going to have something that's going to hit right here in the rib cage, which is a problem for some people. There's definitely still something hard along the ribs, so if your ribs are really sensitive, it still could create some problems. To me, I feel like this is for somebody who will tolerate an underwire, would prefer a wireless, and is looking for something that's really supportive. So my first response when I actually tried this on is it reminds me a lot of the Panache sports bra. In terms of shape, in terms of comfort, in terms of the materials used, there's a lot of similarities, right down to the padded straps and the J-hook in the back. And I bring that up not as an unflattering note, but as a flattering comparison because, you know, the Panache sports bra has a lot of coverage. It comes out in only, certain athletic colors. And there's a lot of people that we have at the store who really love that bra and would wear it as an everyday bra, or do wear it as an everyday bra. To have something like this, which is totally different, and has like the lace and has a little bit of a lower cut neckline and has some options, would be a great alternative for them. In fact, I think if you're a fan of the Panache sports bra for everyday wear and you have, really heavy, dense tissue, this is a good option for you. That's actually what the founders of Trust were reporting to me when we talked. When I got the original bra, was they said that when they did these pop-up shows, it was a lot of times people who liked the Panache sports bra or who felt like they had very heavy tissue, who just loved this design. The underwire pressure isn't the same. It doesn't have the same kind of pokey quality on the side that you get with underwire. So overall, there was just some improvements to the comfort of what they came to expect. Is this a bra for everybody? Absolutely not. But I don't think that there's any particular bra that works for every single person. First off, the size range on this, I think it goes up to like a double G cup. So some people are going to be sized out. I've read some reviews from people who were kind of in that like smaller end of the scale, like the triple D kind of G cup, right, or US triple D G, UK EF, who felt like this was just too much bra. Which again, I can understand if you're kind of on that side of the spectrum. You kind of get used to lighter weight pieces. This is definitely a little bit heavier. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about purchasing it. The materials that they used in general, I think, are really nice. So I'm sure that part of the price point, which this is an $88 bra, I think part of it comes from the fact that it is using 3D printing, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive than your standard underwire. The fabrics that they use are, though, very nice quality. The interior is lined in a really soft fabric that feels a lot like a t-shirt. Then they have this kind of smoothing fabric on the front, a little bit of lace with kind of a peekaboo quality. Like I said, the lightly padded straps, the very wide wings, which are a power mesh, so it allows body heat to kind of pass through. Overall, really good construction. This is leaps and bounds above what the prototype was. This really feels to me like a polished product. It feels like they've taken the feedback from the initial prototypes and they've learned and they're continuing to evolve the design. When I spoke with Laura, she says they have plans for new ones in the future, as well as kind of how to address some of the existing fit issues that they found. So I love the fact that they are not only listening to the feedback, but are quickly accommodating it and trying to figure out how to incorporate new ways of improving it. Aesthetically, to me, it's kind of like your standard black bra. There's nothing like 100% like, oh, this is really unique. I love the fact that they did the J-hook on a normal style bra. I think that that's really important because it can help, again, take the stress off. But we're really just looking at plain black with a little bit of gray peeking through. So I'm not going to necessarily go crazy on that. But again, it is kind of a basic style. So sometimes with basics, that's what you see. It's not really about that they're coming out with innovative prints and colors and combinations. It's more they're coming out with something more innovative in the fit department, and that's why I wanted to discuss that more at length than anything else. So if you want to see the pictures, especially of the interior truss, definitely check out the review that I have posted in the description because you can see a little bit more of what I'm talking about on the interior. And again, if you're someone who has that heavier tissue type, who wants something that's going to give you a lot of support, especially from the bottom, maybe a big fan of the Panache sports bra for normal wear, this is definitely something that I would consider. They definitely have taken those concerns to the next level, and again, I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring forth in their future collections. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to email me. My email address is sophisticatedpair@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our Facebook, blog, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for all the latest news and event information. Thanks for watching.